Welcome to the channel, lovelies. Please like and subscribe. Now, let me tell you about two kids who looked at their lonely, emotionally constipated parents and said, absolutely not. Are you ready for this? Because Nico and Yvette, they're about to become the best matchmakers the mafia world has ever seen, and they're only 9 years old. The cafeteria smelled like overpriced organic chicken nuggets and privilege. Nico sat alone at a corner table, methodically eating his lunch in the exact order he'd arranged it. Carrot sticks first, then the sandwich cut in perfect triangles, the apple last. Is that a system, or are you just weird? He looked up. A girl with box braids and eyes that looked way too smart for 9 years old stood there holding a lunch tray. It's efficient, Nico said. It's weird. She sat down anyway, uninvited. I'm Yvette. I didn't ask. You were thinking about it. She bit into her sandwich. You're new. I'm new. Everyone else here has known each other since they were in diapers, so we might as well not be alone. Nico studied her. She didn't fidget, didn't look away. Most kids couldn't hold eye contact with him. His dad said he had his mother's stare. Nico, he finally said. Cool, now we're friends. She pulled out a juice box. So, what's your damage? My what? Your damage. Everybody here has one. Madison over there? Parents are getting divorced. The loud kid by the window. His dad's in Congress and never home. The twins? Nannies raised them. She took a long sip. Me? I live with my mum. Just my mum. Big house. Quiet house. She works all the time. What about you? Nico's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. Just my dad. My mum died when I was 4. Oh. Yvette didn't do the thing adults did. The head tilt. The sad eyes. The I'm so sorry voice. She just nodded. So, it's quiet at your place too? Like a museum? Like a fortress. She grinned. Does your dad date? No. Mine either. She says she's too busy, but I think she's scared. My dad's not scared of anything. Everyone's scared of something. Yvette leaned forward. Does he smile? Nico thought about it. Not really. Does he have friends? Business associates? Hobbies? Work? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yvette pulled out a notebook. An actual notebook with tabs and coloured pens. My mum's the same. She's got this whole empire thing going on. She's brilliant and terrifying and everyone respects her. But she eats dinner alone every night. She thinks I don't notice. What kind of empire? Yvette's smile turned sharp. The kind people don't ask questions about. Your dad? Same kind. They stared at each other. Understanding clicked into place like a lock tumbling open. Wait. Yvette's eyes went wide. Dojin. Your last name is Dojin. Yeah. Hanel Dojin? That's my dad. Oh my God. She started laughing. My mum is Renly Scott. Nico knew that name. Everyone in his father's world knew that name. His dad had come home from a meeting 3 months ago and actually showed emotion. Anger. Cold. Controlled anger. Your mother cost my father a shipping contract. Your father tried to undercut my mother's supply chain. They looked at each other. Then Nico started smiling too. They hate each other, he said. They're rivals, Yvette confirmed. They are so rigid but still lonely. My dad needs someone who won't break, Nico said. My mum needs someone who won't bore her. Yvette replied, silence. The cafeteria noise faded into background static. Nico could see the exact moment Yvette had the same thought he did. Wait, they said together. Yvette grabbed her notebook, flipped to a blank page and drew a line down the middle. Okay. Think about this. Your dad. What does he respect? Strength, intelligence, strategy. My mum has all of that. Your mum? What does she need? Someone who won't try to control her. Someone who can match her. Someone who isn't afraid. Yvette was writing fast now. Someone who understands the life. My dad understands the life. They already know each other. They already fight, which means they're not indifferent. Indifference is worse than hate. Way worse. Do you see how smart these kids are? They're not playing Tea Party. They're running recon on their own parents. Yvette tapped her pen against her lips. This is crazy. Completely crazy. We're talking about matchmaking two people who actively hate each other. She laughed again. Nico decided he liked that sound. His house was too quiet. Her laugh was loud and real and not careful. Okay. Yvette wrote Operation Cupid's bullet at the top of the page. We're doing this. We're doing this. Nico agreed. Would be nice to have a brother or sister. Maybe both. Yvette said, Okay, don't get ahead of yourself. Nico pulled the notebook toward him. We need a strategy. We can't just push them together. They'll push back. Agreed. We need to be smart about this. Subtle. We need to make them think it's their idea. If they finally figure they hate being alone, we win. But if they kill each other, we move to Switzerland. For the next 30 minutes they planned. They made lists, pros and cons, potential scenarios. Yvette actually pulled out a flowchart from her backpack, a pre-made flowchart, like she'd been planning something like this already. What? She said when Nico stared. I like being prepared. The lunch bell rang. Around them, kids grabbed trays and bags and rushed to their next class. Nico and Yvette didn't move. Step 1, Nico said. We need to force a meeting they can't walk away from. School event, Yvette said immediately. Parent-teacher thing, fundraiser, something official. Too easy to skip. Not if we give them a reason they can't skip. What reason? Yvette's smile turned wicked. We get in trouble. Together? Big trouble. The kind that requires both parents present. You want to stage an incident. I want to stage a crisis. She started packing up her notebook. But you have to trust me. Does it involve fake crying? Obviously. Nico stood shouldering his backpack. For the first time since starting at this school, since moving to this city, since the quiet got too loud in his head, he felt something like excitement. When? Recess tomorrow. We need to make it look good. I'm in. They shook hands. Formal. Serious. A business deal between equals. Oh, this is going to be good. The next day, recess happened at 11:45. By 11:47, Nico and Yvette were shouting at each other near the playground equipment. By 11:50, teachers were running over. By 11:52, Yvette had tears streaming down her face, and Nico's blazer was torn at the shoulder. He pushed me. She started it. He said my mum was a criminal. She said my dad was cold. Two teachers tried to separate them. The principal got called. My dad's going to kill me, Nico said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Perfect mix of fear and defiance. My mum's going to lose it, Yvette shot back. The principal's office smelled like old coffee and stress. They sat in separate chairs, refusing to look at each other. The principal, Mr. Henderson, kept wiping his forehead with a handkerchief. I'm calling both your parents, he said. This is unacceptable behaviour. Nico watched him dial, watched his hands shake slightly. Everyone knew who their parents were, even here, especially here. Across the room, Yvette caught his eye. She winked. Step 1. In progress, right? The black Mercedes arrived first. Nico watched from the principal's office window as his father stepped out, flanked by two men in dark suits. Hanul Dojin moved like water, smooth, inevitable, calm on the surface, dangerous underneath. Oh no, Mr. Henderson whispered. So these two masterminds stage a fight, not a real fight. Oh no, a performance. And the adults? They fall for it completely. This is what I'm talking about. The white Range Rover pulled up 3 minutes later. Renly Scott emerged in a cream-coloured suit. One woman walked behind her. Just one. She didn't need an army. Her presence was the army. Teachers in the hallway went quiet. The front desk secretary sat up straighter. Even the heir seemed to pay attention. Nico's dad entered the building first. Yvette's mum was right behind him. They saw each other in the main hallway. Both stopped, 10 feet apart, not moving, just staring. Of course it's you, Hanul said. His voice was temperature-controlled. Did you come to threaten the education system too? Renly's smile was sharp enough to draw blood. Relax. I'm only here because my daughter is involved. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, Hanul repeated. I share the sentiment. You share a lot of things, Mr. Dojin. Sentiments, business rivals, apparently problematic children. My son is not problematic. Then why am I here? Excellent question. Mr. Henderson appeared in the hallway, sweating through his collar. Mr. Dojin, Miss Scott, thank you both for coming so quickly. If you'll follow me to my office. They moved like predators, graceful, aware of each other's exact position at all times, not looking directly at each other, not looking away either. The office was too small for this much tension. Nico sat on one side, Yvette on the other. Their parents stood behind them like chess pieces positioned for war. There was an incident, Mr. Henderson began. Clearly, Renly said, during recess, your children had a physical altercation. Physical, Hanul repeated. His hand rested on Nico's shoulder. Light touch, protective. Was my son injured? No, but there was... Was anyone injured? Hanul's eyes were black ice. Well, no, but... Then perhaps you could explain why I left an important meeting for a schoolyard disagreement. It was more than a disagreement, Mr. Henderson said quickly. There was yelling, pushing. A trophy was broken. Other children were frightened. Renly looked down at Yvette. Is this true? Yvette nodded, eyes down. Perfect picture of remorse. Oscar-worthy performance. And you? Hanul asked Nico. He started it, Yvette said suddenly. She started it, Nico said at the same time. The principal is about to pass out, and these two are just verbally sparring over their children's fake fight. They stared at each other as if they intended to pounce on the other in any second. The temperature in the room dropped 5 degrees. Mr. Henderson looked like he might cry. Perhaps, he said weakly. We could hear from the children themselves. Fine. Renly crossed her arms. Yvette, explain. Yvette took a breath. He said you were a criminal. I said your business was questionable, Nico corrected. There's a difference. Not to me. Maybe you're too sensitive. Maybe you're too rude. Enough, Hanul said quietly. The word cut through the argument like a blade. Nico, why would you say something about Ms. Scott's business? Nico shrugged. I heard you on the phone last week. You said she runs her operations like a dictatorship. Silence. Absolute silence. Renly's eyebrow arched. Did he now? Hanul's jaw tightened. That was a private conversation. Children hear everything, Mr. Dojin. You should know that. And what does your daughter hear, Mrs. Scott? Yvette jumped in right on cue. You said his contracts are built on intimidation and fear. This time, Renly's expression flickered. Just slightly. Also a private conversation. Also apparently overheard, Hanul said. His voice had an edge now, something almost like satisfaction. Intimidation and fear. Interesting assessment. I stand by it. Of course you do. Standing by questionable positions seems to be your specialty. Better than hiding behind lawyers and loopholes. I don't hide, Ms. Scott. No, you just send other people to do your confronting. That's rich coming from someone who... Please, Mr. Henderson practically shouted. Everyone turned to look at him. He wilted immediately. I mean, please, could we focus on the children? Do you feel the tension? Because I feel it. Renly smoothed her jacket. Hanul adjusted his cufflinks, both retreating to composure like armour. What do you suggest? Renly asked. An apology, Mr. Henderson said quickly. From both children, to each other, a handshake, an agreement to move forward respectfully. Fine, Hanul said. Agreed, Renly added. Nico stood. Yvette stood. They moved to the centre of the office, turned to face each other. I'm sorry, Nico said, for commenting on your mother's business practices. I'm sorry, Yvette said, for getting physical. They shook hands, held eye contact. To the adults, it looked like contrition. Actually, Yvette was trying not to smile. Nico squeezed her hand twice. Their signal, mission accomplished. Wonderful, Mr. Henderson said, relief flooding his voice. I trust this won't happen again. It won't, both children said together. Then you're both dismissed. Back to class. Nico and Yvette walked out. Neither looked back. Down the hallway, around the corner, into the bathroom. The second the door closed, they high-fived. Step 1. Complete. What's step 2? Force them together. Again and again, until they stop fighting it. They stepped out of the bathroom and into their classrooms, like they didn't just connive to turn two enemies into lovers. The email arrived on a Tuesday, school fundraiser, parent volunteer committee needed. Nico deleted it immediately from his father's inbox. Then he signed Hanul up anyway. Across town, Yvette did the exact same thing. So now the kids have confirmation. Their parents can't ignore each other. And what do they do with this information? They weaponize it. I'm telling you, these children deserve awards. The first committee meeting was scheduled for Thursday evening in the school library. Hanul arrived 7 minutes early. He chose a seat at the head of the table, adjusted his tablet, sipped water, waited. Renly walked in exactly on time. She saw him, stopped in the doorway. "You've got to be kidding me. Ms. Scott." He didn't stand. "What a surprise." "No, it's not." She set her bag down at the opposite end of the table. "What are you doing here?" "Volunteering, as requested by the school." "You don't volunteer. Neither do you. I make exceptions for my daughter. As do I for my son." The other parents started trickling in, 5 of them. They all noticed the tension immediately. Conversation died. Everyone sat in the middle seats. No one dared sit close to either end of the table. The committee chair, a nervous woman named Patricia, cleared her throat. "Thank you all for coming. We need to plan the spring fundraiser. It's our biggest event of the year. We need to discuss venue, catering, entertainment, and..." Patricia hadn't finished her statement before Renly interrupted, suggesting the botanical gardens for the venue, and Hanul immediately opposed suggesting the Ashford Hotel. They went on bickering and arguing, completely oblivious to the people around them. The other parents had stopped breathing. Patricia's pen shook in her hand. "Do you see the chemistry?" One of the other parents, a man in a golf shirt, raised his hand weakly. "Maybe we could compromise. Half the event at the hotel, half at the gardens." Both Hanul and Renly turned to look at him. He shrank in his seat. Patricia made a sound like a dying balloon. "Maybe we should... break? Continue this next week?" Everyone agreed immediately. Chairs scraped. People practically ran for the exit. Within 90 seconds, the library was empty except for Hanul and Renly. Neither had moved. "You're impossible," Renly said finally. "You're stubborn. You argue for sport. You enjoy it." She stood, gathering her things. "I don't enjoy anything about you." "Then why are you still here?" "Good question." Renly paused, bag halfway to her shoulder. Why was she still here? She could have left with the others, should have left with the others. Outside the library, hidden behind a bookshelf 20 feet away, Nico and Yvette watched through the window. They'd told their parents they were studying in the reading room. Not technically a lie, they were studying. Just not books. "They've been arguing for 15 minutes about tablecloths," Yvette whispered. "My dad never spends this much time on anything." Nico took a photo with his tablet. "It's working." They watched Renly finally leave, watched Hanul wait 30 seconds, then follow. Phase 2. In progress. 2 weeks later, the school trip happened. Museum of Natural History. Parent chaperones needed. Again, both children volunteered their parents. Again, neither parent realised until they showed up. The bus ride was a disaster, a beautiful, perfect disaster. When they got to the museum, a boy in the group started crying. Both adults noticed immediately. They moved simultaneously and reached the child at the same time. They knelt on either side of him, looked at each other, and for once, they didn't argue. "Hey," Renly said softly. "What's wrong?" "Too many people," the boy whispered. "Too loud." "Overstimulated," Hanul said quietly to Renly. "He needs a break." She nodded. They didn't discuss it, just worked together. Renly guided the other children to the next exhibit. Hanul stayed with the boy, finding a quiet bench, talking in low, calm tones. 5 minutes later, the boy was fine. Renly came back. "Better. Better," Hanul confirmed. They stood, The moment stretched, something neither would acknowledge. "We should rejoin the group," Renly said. "Agreed." But neither moved immediately, just stood there, close, not fighting. The kids noticed, especially Nico and Yvette. They exchanged glances from across the room. Phase 2. Evolving. 3 days later, family day happened. School picnic. Nico and Yvette engineered the seating chart. Both parents showed up. Both saw each other again. "This is becoming a pattern," Hanul observed. "An unfortunate one," Renly agreed. But they sat down anyway. Same picnic table. Their knees kept almost touching. They both noticed but ignored it. They shared space, shared conversation. The kids kept asking questions that required both parents to answer. "What's your favourite book? Where did you grow up? What's the scariest thing you've ever done?" Hanul noticed things. The way Renly always positioned herself so Yvette was protected, the way her eyes scanned exits, the way her voice softened only for her daughter. Renly noticed things too. The way Hanul watched Nico like he was terrified the world might take him, the way he'd memorized every detail about his son, the way he never fully relaxed. They reached for the same serving spoon, hands brushed, both pulled back. "Sorry," Renly said. "No, Hanul stopped. Their eyes held for 4 seconds. Renly looked away first. Hanul's jaw tightened. These two are out here claiming they're rivals while acting married. Can you believe this? That night, Nico and Yvette video called. "Did you see the hand thing?" Yvette demanded. "I documented it. 3:47 p.m. lasted 4 seconds. Your dad didn't insult my mum once during dessert. Your mum laughed at his joke about the principal." Satisfied silence. "Phase 2? Nico asked. "Phase 2. Completed," Yvette confirmed. Hanul sat alone in his study. He stared at his phone. The parent committee contact list was still open. Renly's number was right there. His thumb hovered. He locked the phone. Stood. Poured whiskey he wouldn't drink. Across the city, Renly sat in her office. Same contact list. Same hesitation. She poured wine. Actually drank it. Stared at the ceiling. "This is ridiculous," she said to the empty room. "Oh, they really are fighting it. Hard. But you can't fight chemistry forever, right? Okay, now the universe decides to test them. And let me tell you, the jealousy that comes out. Are you ready for this?" The charity gala was already in full swing when the man approached Renly. Expensive suit, diplomatic smile, confidence that came from never being told no. "Ms. Scott." He offered his hand. "Ambassador Justin, I've heard remarkable things about your work." Renly shook his hand, professional, polite. "Ambassador, welcome." Across the room, 15 feet away, Hanul stopped mid-conversation. His business partner was talking. Hanul wasn't listening anymore. He was watching Renly, watching this man lean slightly too close, watching her smile, holding her hands. He hated it. The plastic cup in his hand cracked. Water spilled over his fingers. And he didn't even notice. "Dad." Nico appeared at his elbow. "Are you okay?" "Fine." Hanul's eyes never left Renly. "You're staring." "I'm observing." "You're jealous." "I'm evaluating a potential threat." Nico followed his father's gaze, saw the ambassador, saw the business partner talking to Yvette's mum, saw his dad's death grip on the ruined cup. He asked her about wine. Nico said innocently. "What?" "The ambassador. He asked about her favourite wine. That's suspicious, right?" Hanul's jaw clenched. "Very suspicious." "How is wine suspicious?" "It's intelligence gathering." "Right, obviously." Nico tried not to smile. "Maybe you should interrupt them." "Why would I do that?" "I don't know. You seem concerned." "I'm not concerned." But Hanul was already moving. He crossed the room in seconds, arrived at Renly's side, didn't acknowledge the ambassador immediately. "Ms. Scott." "A word." Renly turned. Surprise flickered across her face. "Mr. Dojin, is something wrong? The catering situation. We need to discuss it, unless you're too busy." He finally looked at the ambassador. Cold assessment. Dismissal. "I apologise for interrupting." "Not at all." Ambassador Justin's smile didn't waver. I was just leaving. Mrs. Scott, a pleasure. He left, Hannel watched him go. Renly watched Hannel. There's no catering situation, she said. I'm aware. Then why are you... Renly started, stopped. Are you jealous? No, because it sounds like you're jealous. I'm not jealous. Interesting, she said softly. I interrupted to... Hanul stopped. What was he doing? Why did he care? When did he start caring? The catering actually does need review. No, it doesn't. Ms. Scott. Someone interrupted them before they could continue. Yvette and Nico watched from behind the dessert table. They look like disasters. Beautiful disasters. 1 week later, Renly was picking up Yvette from school when she saw them. Hanul, standing near his car, talking to a woman. Gorgeous woman, elegant, familiar in the way that meant history. The woman touched Hanul's arm, leaned in close, said something that made him almost smile. Renly's hand tightened on her steering wheel. Mom? Yvette appeared at the passenger door. Why aren't we leaving? We are, get in. But Renly didn't start the car. She watched. The woman was still talking, still touching, still standing in Hanul's personal space like she belonged there. Who is that? Renly asked. Yvette looked. Oh, that's Min Seo. Nico told me about her. She's from Korea. Old family friend or something. Friend. But Renly was already opening her car door, already walking across the parking lot. Yvette scrambled to follow. Mum? What are you? Renly arrived at Hanul's car, didn't acknowledge Min Seo immediately, stepped right into the conversation, positioned herself slightly between them. Hanul, she used his first name. Deliberate. Yvette's ready. Hanul turned. Surprise crossed his face. Renly, I didn't realize. Now you do. She finally looked at Min Seo. Smile, that wasn't a smile. I'm interrupting. Not at all, Min Seo said smoothly. I was just suggesting dinner, to discuss old alliances. How nostalgic. Renly's hand rested on Hanul's jacket sleeve, light touch. Unfortunately, Hanul has a prior commitment. I do? Hanul asked. You do. Renly's smile sharpened. The fundraiser committee meeting. Tonight. Remember? There was no meeting tonight. They both knew it. Min Seo didn't. Of course, Hanul said slowly, playing along, not sure why. I forgot. That's why I'm here. Renly's hand was still on his sleeve. To remind you. Min Seo's eyes tracked the touch. Understanding dawned. I see. Well, perhaps another time. Perhaps, Renly said. Min Seo left. Renly's hand stayed on Hanul's jacket for 3 seconds longer. Then she realized. Pulled back. Stepped away. There's no meeting tonight, Hanul said. I know. Then why? I need to take Yvette home, Renly interrupted and turned away. Yvette. Car. Now. Yvette. But Hanul was smiling. A small, real smile. That night, twin phone calls. Nico to Yvette. My dad smiled. Yvette to Nico. My mum's doing the thing. What thing? The I'm not jealous, I'm about to commit a felony thing. Your mum gets jealous? She touched his jacket. She never touches people. My dad let her. He never lets people in his space. It's working, Yvette said. It's definitely working, Nico agreed. In his study, Hanul stood by the window, his phone sat on the desk. Did he like her? Like wasn't the right word. Like was too simple, too shallow. He respected her, admired her, wanted to argue with her and impress her and protect her and challenge her. He thought about her more than he thought about anything except Nico. That was dangerous. That was complicated. Across the city, Renly stared at her wine glass. At the impossible situation she was absolutely not developing feelings in. This is ridiculous, she told her wine glass. What happens when two people who've built their lives on control start losing it? When rivals become something else? When children are better strategists than their parents? Phase 3 was coming. and neither Hanul nor Renly had any idea what their kids had planned next. But it was going to change everything. Just when things are getting good, just when these two are finally softening, someone decides they need to stay enemies. Are you serious right now? Because I am furious. Was this you? Renly's voice cut through the phone like ice. Hanul pulled the phone from his ear, checked the caller ID, put it back. Good evening to you too, Miss Scott. What are you talking about? My shipment. The one that arrived destroyed this morning. Ruined product. Your crew's fingerprints all over it. Hanul sat up straighter in his office chair. I don't sabotage shipments. That's beneath me. Then explain this. His phone buzzed. Photos loaded. Crates destroyed. Product scattered. Markers that definitely looked like his operation's signature. He studied them carefully. This wasn't me. Really? Because the evidence says otherwise. Then someone planted evidence. He zoomed in on one photo. Look at the corner. Third crate. That's not how my people work. How convenient. I know you. If I wanted to hurt you, you'd know it was me. I wouldn't hide. Something in her chest warmed. She hated that. I'll investigate. So will I. They hung up. 3 days later, Haniel got the call during Nico's soccer practice. One of his warehouses hit. 3 men injured. Renly's signature style, all over it. I need to go, he told Nico. What happened? Business. Stay with coach. I'll send someone to get you. But Renly was at the same practice. Yvette played on the girls' team, same field. She saw him leave, saw his face, followed him to the parking lot. Hanul, what happened? He turned, surprised. One of my locations was hit. By who? You tell me. His voice was controlled. It wasn't me. The evidence suggests otherwise. Then the evidence is wrong. She stepped closer. I don't hit warehouses. I don't injure people for messages. That's not my style. In the bleachers, Nico and Yvette sat together during half-time. They'd been comparing notes on their tablets. Something's wrong, Yvette said. The timing's too perfect, both incidents within days. And the evidence is too obvious, like someone wants them to blame each other. Someone's setting them up. Nico scrolled through his notes. We need to find out who. How? We do what they taught us. We investigate. Yvette grinned. I love when you talk strategically. I learned from the best. He pulled up a list. Who benefits if they're enemies? Who has access to both operations? Who's been around both families recently? They made lists, cross-referenced, eliminated possibilities. One name kept appearing. Oliver, they said together. Your dad's advisor, Yvette said slowly. Who also has connections to people in your mum's world. Nico's eyes narrowed. He's been around 8 years. He knows everything. We need proof. Leave that to me. Yvette pulled a small recording device from her bag, shaped like a tiny teddy bear. I'll leave this in Mom's office by accident. Days later, Yvette retrieved the device, played back the recordings. Most of it was boring business calls. Then, timestamp 11:47 p.m., Oliver's voice came through. They're getting too close. We need another incident. Another voice. Male. Unfamiliar. The warehouse wasn't enough? They're questioning it. So separate them harder. I'm working on it. The charity gala next week. I'll make sure they both attend. Plant more evidence. Make it public. And if that doesn't work? Then we escalate. But they can't unite. Together they'll control everything. My position becomes worthless. The recording continued. Details. Plans. Proof. Yvette's hands shook. She immediately called Nico. I have him. Full confession. Send it to me. Encrypted. Already done. The gala is in 4 days. Perfect timing. Yvette's smile was wicked. We expose him there, publicly. You have a plan? Obviously. But you're going to think it's weird. Try me. Glitter cannon. Nico paused. What? Trust me, glitter is forever. He won't be able to hide. The charity gala was elegant. full of people who smiled with their mouths but watched with predator eyes. Hanuel arrived in a black suit, Renly in a deep red gown. They hadn't spoken in 3 days. Both noticed the other immediately, but neither approached. Oliver moved through the crowd, confident, secure, about to make his next move. He didn't see the kids, didn't notice Nico near the sound booth, didn't catch Yvette positioning herself by the decorative confetti cannons someone had installed for the midnight celebration. At exactly 9:30 p.m, Nico activated the recording. Oliver's voice boomed through the speakers. "They're getting too close. We need another incident." The room went silent. Everyone turned toward the speakers, confused. Then, slowly, understanding. The warehouse wasn't enough. They're questioning it. Hanuel's expression went deadly calm. Renly's face turned to ice. Both their eyes found Oliver in the crowd. He was already moving toward the exit. "So, separate them harder. I'm working on it. The charity gala next week. I'll make sure they both attend." Oliver broke into a run. Yvette triggered the cannon. Instead of confetti, silver and gold glitter exploded over him, covered him head to toe, shimmering, obvious, impossible to miss. "Glitter is forever," she whispered to Nico. Security from both families moved simultaneously, blocked exits, surrounded Oliver. He stood there, covered in glitter, trapped. Hanuel and Renly approached together, side by side, united. "You tried to destroy us," Renly said quietly. "You don't understand," Oliver gasped. "Together you'll control everything. The balance will." "The balance was never yours to maintain." Hanuel's voice could have frozen fire. "You tried to manipulate us both." "I was protecting yourself." Renly stepped closer. "Your position, your power." "And you failed." Hanuel nodded to his security. "Remove him." They did, efficiently. Oliver disappeared from the gala, still covered in glitter, still protesting. The room stayed silent, everyone watching Hanuel and Renly, standing together, a united front, for the first time, ever. "I told you it wasn't me," Hanuel said quietly. "I know. You believed me." "I wanted to. Do you see this? Someone tried to sabotage their happiness. And these kids, these brilliant, amazing kids, they investigated. This is what I'm talking about." The tension between them crackled. Electric, dangerous. Everyone in the room felt it. On the side, covered in glitter themselves from standing too close to the cannon, Nico and Yvette high-fived. "We did it," Yvette whispered. "We saved them from sabotage. Now they just have to save themselves from each other." Hanuel's hand moved slightly, almost touched Renly's. Almost. Then he pulled back. The moment passed. They separated, professional again. But something had shifted. Everyone saw it. The kids saw it too, and they didn't like what they were seeing. Because instead of moving closer, their parents were doing something worse. They were running. So just when they finally have proof they can trust each other, but what do? They run. Are you kidding me right now? After everything? For exactly 2 days after the Oliver incident, things were perfect. Hanuel called. Renly answered. They talked about nothing important, everything important. He made her laugh. She made him smile. Real smiles. Then on day 3, Renly woke up and felt it. That softness in her chest. That warmth when she thought about him. That need to hear his voice. And she panicked. She'd felt this before, years ago, with Yvette's father. She'd fallen completely, trusted, absolutely, opened every door, showed every weakness. He'd used it all against her. Tried to take her empire, tried to take Yvette, almost succeeded at both. She rebuilt herself from nothing, swore never again, never soft, never exposed, never vulnerable. But Hanuel made her feel all of it. Soft, when he texted good morning. Exposed, when he looked at her like she mattered. Terrified when she realized how much she wanted this to be real. She couldn't do it again, couldn't survive losing everything twice, Couldn't risk Yvette. Couldn't risk herself. Decision made. Shut it down. She stopped answering his calls, deleted his texts without reading them, buried herself in work, built the walls higher. Hanul felt the change immediately. The first unreturned call, he thought maybe she was busy. The second, he started wondering. By the third, he knew. She was pulling away. His mind went to the obvious conclusion. She'd used him. This whole thing was strategy. She needed an ally against Oliver. Got what she needed. Now she was done. It made sense. Cold, perfect sense. Except it felt like betrayal. His wife died 5 years ago. Cancer. Fast and brutal. He couldn't save her. Couldn't fix it. Could only watch her slip away. He'd promised himself never again. Never need anyone that much. Never give someone that power. But Renly made him break that promise. Made him need. Made him want. Made him feel things he'd buried with his wife. And that felt like betrayal. To his wife's memory. To the promise he made. To himself. Decision made. Protect himself. He stopped calling. Stopped texting. Threw himself into work. Into being Nico's father. Into anything that wasn't thinking about her. 3 days passed. Neither reached out. Both retreating to their separate fortresses. And of course, the kids noticed, and they decided to intervene. You haven't called him. Yvette stood in her mother's office doorway, arms crossed. Renly didn't look up from her tablet. I've been busy. It's been 5 days since the gala. I'm aware. He proved it wasn't him. You proved it wasn't you. Oliver's gone. So why? Yvette. Not now. When, Mum? When are you going to stop being scared? That got Renly's attention. Her head snapped up. Excuse me? You heard me. Yvette's voice shook, but she didn't back down. You like him. He likes you. Everyone knows it. Everyone, except apparently you two. It's complicated. It's not. You're just afraid. Yvette. I'm going to bed, alone, in our big, quiet house, again. She turned to leave, stopped. You taught me to be brave, Mom. Maybe you should try it. Again. She left. Renly sat in the silence, stared at her phone, at Hanil's contact. Her hand shook when she reached for her wineglass. Across the city, Nico found his father in the study. 3rd night in a row. Same position, staring at nothing. Dad? Yes. Are you okay? Fine. You've been in here for 3 days. I have work. You're not working. You're staring at your desk. Nico came closer. It's Miss Scott, isn't it? Hanel's jaw tightened. That's not. She didn't use you. The Oliver thing proved that. I know. So, why aren't you talking to her? It's complicated, Nico. That's what adults say when they're being cowards. Hanel's eyes flashed. What's your tone? You taught me to face problems head on, to never retreat. So why are you retreating now? Silence. Hanel had no answer. Nico left. The study felt even quieter. The next day at school, Nico and Yvette met behind the library. Emergency meeting, Yvette said. They're shutting down. Complete withdrawal. My dad won't even mention her name. What do we do? I don't know. For the first time, Yvette looked lost. We're kids. This is about adult stuff. Trauma. Fear. Maybe we can't fix this. Yvette's eyes filled with tears. We got so close. They sat in silence, defeated. Then Yvette's head snapped up. Wait, we can't give up. What else can we do? The one thing they're both too scared to do. What? Make them tell the truth. To each other. Face to face. How? Yvette grinned through her tears. Remember when the school suggested family therapy after our fake fight? Yeah? Time for a real session. They told Hanul it was a school-required mediation, follow-up to the earlier incident. He agreed, for Nico's sake. They told Renly the same thing. She agreed, for Yvette. Both showed up at the school conference room at 4 p.m, saw each other, realised. This is a trap. Renly said. Clearly, Hanil looked around. No therapist, just their kids, sitting behind a table with folders. Sit down, Dad, Nico said. Nico. Mom, sit. Yvette's voice was steel. They sat, too surprised to argue. The kids pulled out documentation, printed photos, timeline charts. What is this? Hanul asked. An intervention, Yvette said. We have evidence. Of what? Renly demanded. Of you two being disasters. Nico opened the first folder. Timeline of behavioural changes. Dad, you started smiling 47% more 3 months ago. Exactly when the committee meetings started. Mom, you checked your phone 156 times during dinner last week. You were waiting for texts. You got jealous at the gala. 7 documented incidents. You memorised his schedule, Mom. Don't pretend you didn't. You bought her favourite wine, Dad. It's in the cellar. I checked. The adults stared, speechless. Their children had evidence. Do you like her? Nico asked suddenly. Yes or no? It's complicated, Hanil started. Yes or no? Both kids shouted together. Hanil looked at Renly. Her eyes were wide, waiting. Yes, he said quietly. Yvette turned to her mother. Do you like him? That's not. Yes or no? Renly's hands clenched. She looked at Hanul, at his face, his eyes. Yes. The room went silent. Both adults looked shocked at their own admissions. Yvette stood up. Her voice shook, but stayed steady. Then why are you acting like you don't belong to each other? That question hung in the air, heavy, true, undeniable. Nico's voice came next, quieter, vulnerable. We didn't do all this to play games. We wanted a family, a real one, with parents who weren't alone and sad all the time. Yvette's eyes were wet. Was that so wrong? Both Hanul and Renly broke, visibly. This wasn't about them anymore. It was about 2 children who just wanted their parents to be happy. You're going to talk, Nico said. Really talk. Not argue. Not run. Talk. We're locking you in here until you do, Yvette added. You can't, Hanul started. Mum taught me how to override electronic locks. Literally can. Renly almost smiled despite everything. And Dad taught me negotiation tactics, so we know you'll both try to bargain your way out. We're not letting you. Hanil definitely felt proud. The kids walked to the door. Yvette pulled out a tablet, pressed buttons. The electronic lock clicked, engaged. Talk, or stay here all night. Nico looked at his father. Your choice. They left, the door sealed behind them. Hanul and Renly sat in silence, alone, trapped. 30 seconds passed. Your daughter is terrifying, Hanul said, finally. Your son is too smart for his own good. They get it from us. Renly almost smiled. Yeah, they do. More silence. Neither knew how to start. Hanul broke the silence first. You pulled away. You stopped calling after 2 days. You stopped first. Don't put this on me when you... I'm not putting anything on you, I'm stating facts. Facts. You want facts? You decided I was done with you without even asking. What was I supposed to think when you ghosted me? They both stopped, breathing hard, glaring at each other across the small room. Hanul ran a hand through his hair. This isn't working. No, it's not. Renly crossed her arms, then uncrossed them, recognizing the defensive posture. We're doing it again. Arguing instead of talking. It's what we do. Hanul's voice was tired. It's all we know how to do. We know how to fight, how to strategize, how to win. Renly looked at him. Really looked. We don't know how to be vulnerable. No, we don't. Silence settled between them. Different this time. Not angry, just honest. Maybe we should try something different, Hanul said quietly. Like what? I don't know. Not fighting, not interrupting, actually listening. That sounds impossible. Probably. He moved to the chairs along the wall, sat down, gestured to the one next to him. But We're locked in here anyway. Renly hesitated, then sat, not across from him, next to him, side by side, easier to talk without the pressure of eye contact. Okay, she said. Let's try this again. Okay. Neither spoke for a moment, both gathering courage. Outside, in the hallway, the kids pressed their ears to the door. Are they talking or arguing? Yvette whispered. I can't hear anything. Should we have left them a script? Too late now. Inside, Hanil stood, walked to the window, looked out. I don't know how to do this, he admitted. Renly's voice came from behind him, soft, honest. Neither do I. He turned. She was standing now too, 3 feet away. Might as well have been 3 miles. The kids are right. We're acting like cowards. We are cowards. Renly's hands trembled. At least I am. Why? Because I'm terrified of you. Renly's confession hung in the air. Hanul stared at her. Terrified. Of me? Yes. This is it. This is the moment we've been waiting for. They're alone. They're trapped. And they finally have to face the truth. Are you ready? Because I am so ready. Why? He asked. Because you make me feel things I swore I'd never feel again. Her voice cracked. And I don't know if I can survive it, if this goes wrong. Hanel moved closer. Not touching, just closer. I thought you were using me, after Oliver. I thought you got what you needed, and were done. I pulled away because I was scared. Of what? Of losing myself, my control, my empire, everything I built. She looked up at him. I did that once, let someone in, trusted completely. It almost destroyed me. Almost took Yvette. I'm not him. I know, that's what scares me. Because if this fails, if you fail, I won't survive it twice. Hanul's hand moved, hesitated, then touched her face, gentle. She leaned into it before she could stop herself. The last time I needed someone, he said quietly, I lost her, my wife. She died and I couldn't save her. I promised myself never again. But you make me break promises. His thumb brushed her cheek. I don't like anyone near you. I think about hurting people who touch you. I memorize your schedule. I bought your favorite wine even though I don't drink it. That's concerning behavior, Mr. Dojin. I'm aware, Miss Scott. When did this happen? When did we stop being enemies? I don't know. Somewhere between tablecloths and jealousy. She laughed. The sound made him smile. What are we doing? She asked. I have no idea, but it is a terrible one. Completely insane. We're rivals. We were. He stepped closer, their faces inches apart. Now we're something else. What? I don't know yet, but I want to find out. The underworld will lose their minds. Let them. We'll fight, constantly. I'm counting on it. You're going to drive me insane. You already do that to me. This doesn't solve everything, Hanul. I'm still scared. Still damaged. So am I, but I'd rather be scared with you than safe alone. Renly's breath caught. When did you get so wise? When I met you. Liar. Complete truth. They stood there, close, not quite touching everywhere, but almost, the air between them electric. If we do this, Renly said, I need you to understand something. What? I don't belong to anyone. I won't be controlled or managed or handled. I know. I'll fight you when you're wrong. Good, I'll fight back. I have a daughter who comes first. Always. I have a son who comes first. Always. But there's room for more. Her eyes went wide. More? Family. Us. Together. All of it. He finally closed the distance, wrapped his arms around her. She fit perfectly. 1 fortress instead of 2. Renly buried her face in his chest, let herself be held for the first time in years. I'm still terrified, she whispered. Me too. But I'm done running from this. She pulled back, looked up. So we're doing this? Actually doing this? Yes. Together. Together. Then he kissed her, Soft at first, then deeper. Years of fighting and tension and chemistry finally breaking free. She kissed him back, fierce, claiming. Outside, the kids had their ears pressed to the door. "I can't hear anything," Nico whispered. "Should we unlock it?" "I think we should." The door opened. "You two are in so much trouble," Renly said. "Locking us in a room, very serious offence," Hanoil added. Nico scrambled up. "Are you together?" Hanoil looked at Renly. She looked back. Something passed between them. Understanding. Agreement. "We're figuring it out," Renly said. "Together," Hanoil added. "Permanently." The kids screamed. Victory dance in the hallway. Yvette grabbed Nico and they jumped around like maniacs. "We did it. We're the best matchmakers ever. I want siblings, plural." "Don't push it," both parents said together. They announced it officially. 2 weeks later, the underworld went silent, then exploded. Two most powerful forces, united. The balance of power shifted overnight. At school, the principal considered early retirement. Other parents didn't know whether to be terrified or impressed. The kids? Nico and Yvette became absolute legends. Moving in together took 3 months. Renly's house was bigger, so Hanyul and Nico moved there. Chaos immediately. "We need house rules," Hanoil announced at dinner one night. "I don't do rules," Renly said. "Mum, he's right. We need structure," Yvette said. "Thank you, Yvette." "Don't thank her yet, Dad. She's playing you," Nico warned. They were. The kids immediately started playing parents against each other. "Can I stay up late? Ask your mother. Ask your father. Can I get a new tablet?" Mom said maybe. Dad said we'll see. It lasted exactly 1 week before Hanoil and Renly caught on. "They're manipulating us," Renly realised. Little masterminds. Should we be proud or concerned? Both. They united like dictators. Unified front. No more playing one against the other. The kids sat at dinner that night, stunned. "This backfired," Yvette whispered. "Completely," Nico agreed. But family dinners became sacred. All 4 of them. Real food, real laughter, real chaos. Arguments happened daily, loud, passionate. Usually ending with Hanyul and Renly smirking at each other, stealing kisses they pretended didn't happen. "Gross," both kids would yell. "You wanted a family," Renly reminded them. "We wanted a normal family," Yvette complained. "We're mafia royalty, sweetie. Normal was never an option." 6 months later, at dinner, Yvette looked at Nico. "Remember when we thought they'd kill each other? Good times." "Good thing you didn't," Yvette said to her mother. "Good thing you didn't move us to Switzerland," Nico said to his father. "I was already learning the language," Yvette said. Everyone laughed. Real laughter. The kind that only happens when you're home, safe, whole. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too." 2 people who were enemies, now partners in everything, because the only thing more dangerous than their war was their love. And that is how you turn enemies into family. So lovelies, that's the story of how 2 9-year-olds looked at their broken, lonely parents and said absolutely not. They engineered peace. They forced truth. They built a family from rivalry and fear and love that neither adult knew they needed. Nico and Yvette deserve every award. And Hanoil and Renly, they finally chose themselves. They chose each other. They chose family. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we have more stories coming that will inspire you, make you think, and remind you that love shows up in the most unexpected places. Drop a comment below. Tell me, are you Team Nico or Team Yvette for Mastermind of the Year? Share your thoughts. Inspire others. Let's build this community together. Until next time, lovelies, remember, sometimes the best families are the ones we fight for.